What's up? What's up? UFC 322, guys. Haven't done a live stream in some time, but this pay per view is insane. I am super excited because I truly believe this is the card of the year. On paper, it's absolutely fantastic. Oftentimes, when we see some of these cards, it's just too obvious of what's going to happen. Some of these matchups are not as good as we like them to be, but I have to say the matchmakers absolutely killed it this for this card. I mean, you're going to see now. I'm going to break down all 14 fights that are going to take place in Madison Square Garden, and there are some real problems here. I'm going to tell you, there's going to be some upsets. There's going to be some shocked results, and there's going to be a lot of MMA fans that are going to be crying. I truly, truly believe that, guys. I was just posting this on Instagram to get a few people in here. I'm going to be breaking down all the fights like usual. I'm going to be talking about bets. I'm not giving out my bets here. What I will be doing is I'm going to tell you what I think is of best value. And what I want you to do while some people are trickling in here is leave me a comment. I want you guys to tell me who you're taking in the main card. I think the main card is just so OP. And I'm excited to announce, and I'll be saying it a few times throughout this video, that I am definitely going to be live. I am doing a full fight card companion. I believe I'm going to do the prelims in the main card. I might not do the early prelims, but either way, I am going to be going live on Saturday. So if you're not doing anything, you're watching, you just want to be a part of stream, join randomly, right? So it's going to be hours of streaming. I'm super excited about it. And without further ado, I'm getting on my Hard Rock app as I always do. And I'm going to be talking about all the odds, what makes sense, what has values. And we're going to go from there, guys. Like I said, this video is going to be posted right after. So if you can't catch the whole thing now, because I do think this will be a bit of a lengthy live, you can catch it later. Thanks for all the support. Like usual, if you're new here, I am the MMA Casual, and I give you the best bets, picks, predictions. I have roughly 90,000 followers on Instagram. So if you can, check that out. And I see that when I do these lives, I get quite a few people. And the one thing I do want to say is if you're going to be here and you're watching and I look at the analytics, you're coming back, just hit the subscribe button. And I'll stop yapping, guys. We're going to start with the first fight of the night, guys, the early prelims. Oh, boy. Vyacheslav Borshev and Mateus Camilo, which, guys, I don't know if this is like breaking news or something, or I missed something. Maybe I haven't been on social media in the last hour, but I don't see these odds right now. Did this fight get canceled? I am not a fan of what's going on here. That's no good. Oh, snap. I'm just going to look that up while I'm on this live stream because that would be huge news. That means we'd go down to from 14 to 13 fights. So let's see if there's any quick news before I break this down. Oh, it looks like it's still on. I didn't get the live odds here. I have no idea why I'm not getting live odds here, but it is what it is. I'm going to break down the fight either way. That's weird. The Hard Rock app. I use the Hard Rock app. I know everybody has different apps. I do use the Hard Rock app. This is weird. All right. Either way, guys, I can't give you the live odds of this fight. What I do know is that Mateus Camilo is coming in as the favorite. Borshev coming in as the underdog. He's coming up back. Both these guys coming back from losses. Borshev coming after Terrence McKinney absolutely made him look like a little amateur boy, right? Borshev's been in the UFC for quite some time, has a lot of experience. And if you have to say he has a superpower or a strength, you would easily say it's his striking. And I would turn and I would say it's also his durability, right? When you look at the Mateus Camilo side, a guy with a lot of finishing ability, a guy that on the regional scene was looking like quite the superhero, but he comes in and Gabe Green comes after a long layoff and he just shows everybody who's boss. Mateus Camilo took a loss. So when we look at a fight like this, I'm looking at a veteran who's way past his prime, a veteran who's taken quite the beatings. And every time I see him in the octagon, I do want to say that I feel like Borshev is continuously declining. I think that he's continuously getting more damage dealt to him throughout the fight. Whereas Mateus Camilo, yes, he lost his fight, but I think this is a really good buy low spot and a chance for him to shine because when you come out, you go into your UFC debut and you get, I'm not going to say he got starched, but you take a loss the way he did, that affects you, right? And I do think that this kid went back, worked hard in the gym, and I think we're going to see him really nice in this spot. I did take an under in this fight because I do think we are going to see a finish. Mateus Camilo took this fight on short notice. But I believe it's a short notice opponent because I think he was being scheduled for a fight in December. I may be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But Mateus Camilo, I do like him in this spot. After the Terrence McKinney fight, I do like Mateus Camilo to come in and get the grappling going. I don't think it's too wise for him to be striking too much with Borshev, and not because he can't handle it, just because I think he needs to not play into Borshev's game, and that's the only way Borshev looks good here, which is his durability, lasting longer, and taking over later in the fight. So I would love Mateus Camilo to come out, um, look for a takedown, start seeking his head and arm choke, a triangle. We've seen his submission ability. Of course, he does have knockout power as well, but the Borshev durability is a little scary. So I am going Mateus Camilo. I do think he wins this fight within the distance and under 2.5 rounds. Sorry, I couldn't get you those odds. But we move on to this public execution, right? We have Bessinger Susurkaya versus Eric McConical. I got to be honest with you. I don't think Eric won his last fight. I thought it was very lackluster. I don't think this guy had 30 landed strikes in like the whole fight or some nonsense like that. Don't quote me on that either. But it was just a ridiculous performance against Cody Brundage, and he got the nod, and it is what it is. But now we have a guy who's the cream of the crop, getting all the hype in the world. If you have not seen this guy, he came off then Dana White's Contender Series. I want to say it was like week 7, or I don't know, it might be earlier. But he comes out, he murders his opponent, and then he asked to fight that Saturday. Mind you, Dana White's Contender Series is on Tuesday. So gets the job done on Dana White's Contender Series on Tuesday, goes back, makes weight on Friday, fights again on Saturday, finds another finish. Guys, this guy's the real deal, and I feel bad for Eric McConical, and kudos to him for taking this fight, because you got to have some balls. But I think that it's extremely insane for this guy in his second fight in the UFC to be a minus 850 favorite, back to Bo Nickel numbers when he came off of Dana White's Contender Series as well. Eric McConical plus 575. Guys, to be honest with you, the only real things that make sense to me is if we're looking at grouped rounds. I really like Susurkayev within 2. The under 1.5 obviously makes a lot of sense. That's at minus 250, so it is a little heavy, but I do think that's the way he goes. We saw Susurkayev start off a little slow in one of his fights, but I think he's going to come in and make a statement. I mean, you're on the best card of the year. You're early in the card. You're in Madison Square Garden. He's had time to prep for this. He didn't fight last Tuesday, so I think this is a really good buy spot for Susurkayev, and I like him in round 1. So if we look at round 1 to get specific, KO in round 1 is minus 150. That's a very expensive price tag for someone to win in round number 1. But he did go out and say he's going to try to knock out Eric McConical in round 1. So minus 150 is not bad for the fight to end by knockout. If we're going round betting, Susurkayev round 1 is minus 130. Also very expensive, guys. Winning round group, do you want to play it safe? Susurkayev rounds 1 or 2 is minus 260. Fight to reach round 2. If you put yes, if you think we see a second round, is plus 120. Maybe McConical could stay safe for 5 minutes. I don't think so, guys. I'm going Susurkayev, round 1 knockout. I think he's going to be a man of his word. I think he goes out here and starches his opponent. Susurkayev by sub is plus 650. And to be honest with you, if Susurkayev didn't go out there and say he wants to knock him out, I would love that sub prop at plus 650. It's absolutely insane. But I really do think he's going to come out and try to make a statement. But again, a club and sub, you never know. So we're going to move on. Angela Hill, Fatima Klein. Guys, this is kind of a similar story to the first fight I broke down, where you have a crafty veteran. But if we're looking at Angela Hill and we're looking at Borshev, one of the things you see in Angela Hill especially, I got to give kudos to her because she is one of the only MMA fighters, more specifically female MMA fighters, who got better with age, right? She's at that retirement age. Tisha Torres was in that, man, what's the show called? Not Dana White Contender Series. My Lord. Whatever. The show. I used to love this freaking show. The reality show. They're in the house. Oh, my God. Long story short, she was on that when they were starting the strawweight division. Felice Herrig, Tisha Torres, all these girls, right? And you're seeing these girls, and they are late into the game. They are older, and these girls are coming in to fight at 115 pounds, which is not an easy ask, right? But Angela Hill, 2 fights ago, was still performing enough where we were like, let's take her by decision because she's crafty enough to get through these rounds. She is smart enough to outskill her opponent, outpoint her opponent in these rounds. She'll win a split decision. She'll do what she needs to do, and she just does just enough, right? When you have Fatima Klein on the other side, you have a young up and comer who now comes in at 115 pounds to be putting girls out the way she has. Finishes her last two opponents. I'm impressed. I really like Fatima Klein here. The price tag's a little heavy. Fatima Klein is minus 500 now. I want to say she started as like a minus 375. So this line is moving and it's moving fast. Angela Hill plus 375, guys. To be honest with you, fight to go to decision, fight to go the distance is minus 350, right? And I don't like that because Fatima Klein's coming out here and she's putting people out. And Angela Hill's a very durable fighter. I'm not saying she's easy to put out, but if all of a sudden Angela Hill, right, we see her slow down against Lucindo, and now we see a little more of a decline, I wouldn't doubt that Fatima Klein could land something nice and finish this fight. So I'm kind of staying away from here. I'm really confident in Fatima Klein to win this fight. I think she's just going to be more aggressive. I think she's going to be stronger. I think she's going to be bigger. She's going to be really uncomfortable in there for Angela Hill. And I'm throwing half a unit at a finish, and I'm giving out a free bet there. Is it the most confident thing in the world? Absolutely not. But for Fatima Klein to win with inside the distance, is plus 325. So half a unit at plus 325 for a girl who's coming out, constantly putting people away, and she's going up against a crafty vet, definitely a jumping competition, but somebody who's continuously declining. I'm all for it, guys. I'm taking the swing at plus 325. Fatima Klein, I like her within the distance. Let's say round 3 KO. Pat Sabatini, Chepe Mariscal. Guys, these guys fought, and there's actually two matchups in here that have happened, and both of them actually happened 7 years ago. If you commonly listen to me, to my rants, to my live shows, this, that, the other, one thing you hear me say is that I really do believe history repeats itself, right? We see it time and time again, oftentimes in championship fights, this, that, the other. This year has been a weird year for UFC, and I've actually seen that not always go the same way. And in this fight in particular, I think that Chepe Mariscal is the dog out of the two guys. I think Chepe Mariscal has a little bit more in him to get this fight in a decision, to get this fight by finish. However, Pat Sabatini is very good. Pat Sabatini is a fantastic grappler. And if he's able to take Chepe down, I could see a world where he's controlling him until the end of a round. He wins that round. And if he's able to do it once, I think he's able to do it again. So if Pat Sabatini in round number 1 gets a takedown, I'm very, very inclined to maybe live bet him a substantial amount of money. But I have to see that happen because Chepe, with that judo background, with the good hips, I think he's going to be able to avoid the takedown. And the reality is, if let's say Pat Sabatini takes him down for 15 seconds, Chepe is able to get up. Now I might even live bet Chepe because Chepe is going to do dog work. He's going to be in Pat Sabatini's face. He's going to make this dirty. And if he's able to avoid the takedown threat, if he's able to X that out, Chepe is going to dog walk Pat Sabatini. And that's really hard to say because I have respect for Pat Sabatini. But Pat Sabatini is also somebody who's had a questionable chin in the past. So what do I think here? We have Mariscal plus 110. I'll take his money line, ladies and gentlemen. I comfortably put a unit on that. Pat Sabatini minus 135. I'm not too comfortable betting that, guys. If there's a prop that you could reach for the stars with, Pat Sabatini by sub plus 750 is kind of insane. Do I think he gets Chepe in a position where he could sub him? Not necessarily, but Pat Sabatini is that good. There's a first time for everything. So plus 750 is a little insane for Pat Sabatini by sub. Fight to go the distance, I truly think it does, but it's at minus 180 right now. And Chepe being such a dog and being so durable gets me a little worried because if Pat Sabatini's a little too aggressive grappling early, maybe he gets tired. And if Chepe takes over, maybe he finds his chin or just dogs him TKO late just out of exhaustion. So yeah, guys, I do like Chepe here. I think the money line is pretty safe, or the safest bet you could get here. This is one of those fights that could go a few different ways. Over 2.5 rounds, minus 225. So yeah, I just think everything's a little expensive here. I do think this fight goes to decision. I think Chepe could get the bigger moment striking. I think he could avoid the grappling enough to get the nod here. So I'm taking Chepe. I'm taking him by decision. Kyle Dawkins, Gerald Meerschaert. Guys, GM3, I've faded this guy like his last like 6 fights. And it's been good for the majority of them. Yeah, I think he got a sub in one of those, and I got screwed over. But I was all over Alexichuk when he fought him last, and I had him rounds grouped. I had him by knockout. I won like 3 different bets with Michelle, and this is gonna be no different. If the last time I broke down Kyle Dawkins, just like many people, I was against him, and I thought that he was gonna come right into the UFC and he was gonna get dog walked by Michel Pereira. To our surprise, this son of a gun came out. He killed my like safe parlay with a freaking knockout on Michel Pereira. I was in shambles. I was shocked. But when you look at his highlights after he gets dropped by the UFC, this guy's made improvements, man, and he's a good grappler. And what I really think is he's gained a bit of confidence in his striking. Big dog Dawkins. I like that. So coming back from such a great performance and coming out and starching Michel Pereira so early, coming back, you have GM3 who's getting older. This guy's like almost 60 fights into his professional mixed martial arts career. Guys, you have to take Kyle Dawkins here. I know he's a little pricey, but I do not see a world where GM3 beats him. I mean, Kyle Dawkins is a minus 425 favorite. GM3 plus 325 underdog. I like Kyle Dawkins, guys. And more specifically, I got to be honest with you. Kyle Dawkins would be an absolute fool to try to wrestle GM3. You take GM3 down, now you're dealing with the submission threat. Now you're dealing with something that may not be your world, even though Kyle Dawkins can grapple. I think Kyle Dawkins needs to stay up, avoid the takedown. GM3 is not much of a takedown threat, and just beat the shit out of GM3. I think Kyle Dawkins could throw whatever, and GM3 is eventually going to fold, man. He is too old. He's worn out. He's taken too much damage. He got dropped like 3 times in his last fight. Again, Michel Alexichuk is very strong. Kyle Dawkins is not the same guy, but give me Kyle Dawkins by round 1 knockout at like plus 425. I'll tell you exactly what that is right now. I love that prop, and I might put a whole unit on that. I'm just giving that out. Round betting. Kyle Dawkins round 1 is plus 240. If you're going to take round 1, I just think you take round 1 knockout. I don't think he subs them. Again, a club and sub is very possible. I don't like it. Kyle Dawkins to win in under 1.5 rounds is plus 150. That's also pretty good. So Kyle Dawkins to win by knockout in round 1 is plus 475. Guys, that's the way to go. My pick, Kyle Dawkins, round 1 knockout. Give it to me straight. That's what I'm taking. But I think Kyle Dawkins within the distance is fairly safe. Fairly safe, assuming we see the same one who fought Pereira. Malcolm Wellmaker, Cody Haddon. I'm excited for this fight. I mean, all these fights up to now, I'm excited for to a certain extent. But this is debatably, this is the prospect fight of the night, right? Malcolm Wellmaker coming in, starching everybody, nasty hooks, great footwork, great hips as well. But we haven't seen him fight anybody worth a shit. That's the reality. And then you have Cody Haddon over there, who, in my opinion, if you're looking at this fight, I'm a Malcolm Wellmaker fan already. I'll tell you that. But if you're looking at Cody Haddon, this kid's freaking impressive. And if you come to me and you look at both of these fighters, you've seen their previous performances. If you have to ask me who's the better mixed martial artist, I'm more inclined to say Cody Haddon is the better overall or complete mixed martial artist. Now, what we have on the Malcolm Wellmaker side is an absolute finisher. A guy at 135 pounds who's coming to kill. He might be one of the most powerful guys in the bantamweight division right now, if not that he is. Like, he's an absolute killer. So what do I see in this fight? I see a kid coming up with the momentum, getting a lot of finishes. The confidence is up. I see great stance switches. I see good hips. And I see the knockout potential, right? Can he step up to the occasion? He has time and time again. Now, Cody Haddon, what is he going to do in this fight? In my opinion, I think he needs to attempt to initiate the grappling, because what's going to happen is Malcolm Wellmaker is going to start with those heavy, heavy kicks, which usually set up his counter punches. He sets up, he gives really heavy kicks. All of a sudden, Cody Haddon's kind of coming in at him. And Malcolm Wellmaker is going to be ready to counter punch with those huge, huge hooks who could put Cody Haddon out. And my concern is that Cody Haddon may want to participate in the striking battle with Malcolm Wellmaker. Can he strike? Can he keep up? Absolutely. But can you take the risk against Malcolm Wellmaker? That's the question when you're so high level. I think the path to victory for Cody is definitely taking Wellmaker down. Like I said before, I think Wellmaker has really good stance switches. I think he has really good footwork. I think he has really good hips. I'm confident that he could get back up. Because of that, I'm taking Malcolm Wellmaker. I'm hoping it's a knockout, but I could see this kind of being like a pretty even prospect battle where we're looking into a decision where who had the bigger moments, right? Wellmaker right hook this time, I reckon. I wouldn't doubt it, man. I just saw on Twitter that Cody Haddon got out of the fight. Oh my god! If that's real, I can't tell if you're trolling me. I'm stopping the stream, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if they can find somebody. That would just break my heart. And I really like Wellmaker here. I don't see anything yet. Still 9 hours. Yeah, I don't see anything yet. I don't see anything yet. I don't know if this is fake news by Mr. Jose. I don't see why he would give me fake news here. But I'm going to leave it at that. I already broke it down. It is what it is. I hope that's not true. That would be a rough one. That's a rough loss because, like I said, I think this is the prospect fight of the night, right? So that's a tough one. All right. Wow, stressed me out. Sorry, I was answering a text there. Let's keep it moving. All right, Jose, cut the crap out. All right, so next up, Aaron Blanchfield. And so my pick is Malcolm Wellmaker. I think his money line's pretty fair for everything in that matchup. So I like him. I do think he gets a finish. I do like the knockout there. I think Cody Haddon, although very good and could grapple, I think that he's going to try to strike with Wellmaker. All right, Aaron Blanchfield, Tracy Cortez. Ladies and gentlemen, let me say something here. And it's a hot take. I don't think Tracy Cortez is all that. I don't think she's all that. In everything you're thinking. More importantly, she's not all that as a mixed martial artist. Now, I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant here, and I want you to understand this very well. The more competitive athlete here is Aaron Blanchfield. The pressure fighter here is Aaron Blanchfield. The one with heart is Aaron Blanchfield. The one who's proven herself, in my opinion, against better competition is Aaron Blanchfield. The one who's going to win this fight is Aaron Blanchfield, right? They fought 7 years ago. Aaron Blanchfield was like 7 years old, basically. I'm obviously satire. She was, I think, 18 or 19. Tracy Cortez won that fight. But I think Aaron Blanchfield is coming back. She's an absolute killer. She's a competitor. She's looked good against a lot of girls. Even her loss against Manon Fiorot, I thought she looked pretty freaking good. I mean, it was a very tough test, and she is so young. And now this is what I'm going to say about Tracy Cortez. Tracy Cortez is a good wrestler, could win a round, could do the right things to win a round. And in this matchup, I think she has better striking. When you look at that, you say, can Aaron Blanchfield take down Tracy Cortez? Is she going to be able to take down Tracy Cortez? And is she going to be able to hold her there? Can she submit her? Can she knock her out? The answer is no, I don't believe that. Maybe a submission, but that's a little bit of a long shot. What I think is going to happen here is that Tracy Cortez might even take round one. She might outpoint Aaron Blanchfield. She might get a takedown. But when we go to round 2 or 3, I think Aaron Blanchfield is going to take over this fight. And her durability and her pressure moving forward is going to be too much for Tracy Cortez. And we've seen Tracy Cortez just be beaten in the octagon against Rose Namajunas. And I don't like MMA math, but if we're going to do MMA math, Aaron Blanchfield is going to win this fight just based off both of their previous opponents, right? This is another thing I'm going to say about Tracy Cortez, and something that a lot of people don't think about. Tracy Cortez is on like a world tour right now. What I mean by that, I follow a lot of these fighters. I'm paying attention to what they're doing because we are in the most intense and physically demanding sport in the game. These individuals have to be in shape all year round. When they're in fight camp, they have to be 100% committed. These people should be living in the gym. When you take a look at Tracy Cortez, she's at a photo shoot over here. Last night, actually, I saw she was at a Knicks game. Oh, she's doing content with Nina Drama. Oh, she's at a UFC event with three people. She has a drink in her hand. Guys, that's that type of shit that stops these people from progressing. When they get a little bit of money, when they get a little bit of superstardom. And if you look at both of these girls and you ask me who's in the gym, who's going to work, it's Aaron Blanchfield. I can tell you Tracy Cortez is missing workouts where Aaron Blanchfield isn't. And again, just back to the competitive edge. Give me the dog. Give me the durable. Give me the one who's going to tough everything out. Give me Aaron Blanchfield by decision. Long shot the sub. That's what I think about this fight. Roman Kopylov, Gregory Rodriguez. Guys, from this point on, I do have to say that all these fights, and I started the stream with saying this whole card has quite a few fights where there's so much that could happen. Where there's usually I'm like, oh, maybe this guy gets a lot of control. I could see him taking down this fight. If he gets the wrestling going, he'll win the fight. Oh, if this guy brings the pressure and the volume like he usually does, he'll win. It's that simple. Oh, the decision. Oh, maybe a knockout. Only one or two avenues in reality to our fights. And I know that sounds so ridiculous to say. There are so many potential outcomes in so many of these fights that are justified and you could be convinced of, because that's how good the matchmaking is. And it starts off here. Roman Kopylov, a bouncy kickboxer, someone who's very good volume, coming off a loss against what was a title contender in Paulo Costa. Then we have Gregory Rodriguez, the freaking guy from that movie, man. What's that baseball movie? Oh my God. I am 12. He goes up to the pitcher's mound. He gives with Crayola. He's like, I am 12. And he's like 40. This guy is like 30 something years old, supposedly. Bullshit. That guy's like 57 and has been on test and trend for the last 22 years. That's what's up with RoboCop over there. Long story short, that guy's a tough guy. That guy's going to bring the fight. He's super powerful, but he's lower volume. And we've seen him be chinned before. So now, when you kind of break down these two guys, and Gregory coming off a couple of wins, when you break down actually a win, when you break down these guys, I'm a little taken back, because I could see a world where Roman Kopylov brings in the volume, stays away from trouble, keeps this fight standing, outpoints Gregory, because Gregory likes to strike. He's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, very good grappling, can wrestle, but he likes to strike. But then I see the worlds, several worlds, right? Gregory comes in with a good game plan, takes down Roman Kopylov, and Roman Kopylov is absolutely screwed on the ground. Maybe a Gregory sub, right? Maybe Gregory ground and pound. Or maybe just as these guys are striking, this, like so one of you guys put, this mythical creature, right, finds Kopylov's chin. And then what? So many avenues here, guys. I think either of these guys could knock each other out, right? And even though I've been on the fence, I am going to go Gregory Rodriguez. I think Gregory Rodriguez will find his way through this dogfight. And I could see him losing the majority of this fight and just catching Roman Kopylov. Or I could see him coming out saying, I'm getting to the top of the division. I need to start making statements. I'm 75 years old. Take down Roman Kopylov and just submit this son of a gun, because he can. And that's what's so annoying about this. Gregory Rodriguez could come out here and absolutely dog Roman Kopylov if he just initiated the grappling. But can we trust him to do that? So anyway, Gregory Rodriguez minus 185, Roman Kopylov plus 150. Total rounds, the round line, oh my God, look at this. Over 1.5 rounds is minus 165. Under is plus 125. Over 2.5 is plus 140. Under is minus 185. I mean, guys, Gregory Rodriguez isn't making it late in fights usually. It could be him or his opponent. I kind of like, if you want to save under 185 for under 2.5 rounds, I don't hate it. I don't hate it. Fight to end by knockout. Any of them winning by knockout is minus 120. So that's fair. Finish only winner, Gregory Rodriguez at minus 190. I actually really like that, because Roman could knock him out, right? He has really good kicks. We could see this crazy high kick or something. But I think the finishing ability here lies on RoboCop, and it could be sub or knockout. So yeah, guys, tough one. I'm going Gregory. I think with inside the distance, in a perfect world, he comes out, grapples, and he finds a sub. I really do like Gregory's grappling in this, and I hope that that's the game plan. But again, who knows? RoboCop loses to no one unless it's a 5 rounder. Blanchfield next title shot, probably mythical first round fighter. Yeah, basically. All right, guys. Bo Nickel, Rodolfo Vieira. Guys, this is quick. This is a great buy low spot for Bo Nickel. I think this is going to be the Paul Craig fight all over again. It's going to be freaking jab, jab, low kick, move around, switch stance, stare at each other. Jab, jab, low kick, move around, stare at each other, fake the clinch, separate. Next round, repeat, recycle. I don't think we're going to see a lot of grappling here. I think this could be an extremely boring fight. I think these guys have to be careful with each other on the ground. I think Bo Nickel could have a lot of control down there, but I also think that that'd be a little silly because Rodolfo Vieira could find the sub, right? The guy's nasty. We've seen him find it before. What I do like here, and maybe this is more important than what I just said, this could be the Paul Craig fight again, or Bo Nickel's going to come back after a rough loss to RDR, and he's going to start Rodolfo Vieira, right? Easier said than done. Rodolfo Vieira is very good, but I do see a world where that happens, guys. When you have a guy like Bo Nickel who's so decorated, you have to understand that their mentality is different, their training is different. Like their competitive edge is what really sets them aside, and I think Bo Nickel has that. I give him a lot of credit. And to be honest, I love the fact that he lost, and I love the fact the way that he lost because it takes away pressure and it's a humbling thing. It's like I am not that guy in MMA, and I think Bo Nickel needed that to elevate. And I think this is a really good buy low spot for him. The line right now for him is minus 225. I'll be honest with you. I think he's a good parlay piece. Rodolfo Vieira plus 180. Total rounds under 2.5 plus 125. Over is minus 165. Oh, Wallmaker versus Ewing. No way, bro. That now he's gonna be a hell of a parlay piece. Yep. So announced 10 minutes ago. Well, so breaking news, got ladies and gentlemen. Breaking news. Oh man, I'm excited. All right, Wallmaker by whatever the hell he wants. All right, cool. Anyway, back to Bo Nickel. Thanks for that update. So Bo Nickel at minus 225, I think is a steal. I think Bo Nickel to win in decision is highly likely. Plus 135. I don't hate a Bo Nickel finish. Bo Nickel to win by finish is plus 230. There's a part of me who really wants to buy into the fact that Bo Nickel took a rough loss. He went back, corrected what he needs to correct. He's going to have a good game plan. He's ready for this fight, and he comes out and starches Rodolfo Vieira. The logic in me says Bo Nickel money line makes the sense. If you want more value, if you want to take a stretch, I think Bo Nickel to win by finish at plus 230 is kind of nice. But again, that's a tough thing to do against Rodolfo Vieira, who has a nice jab and is going to be an absolute submission threat on the ground. And just a big dude, man. He's a thick, big dude. Not that Bo Nickel is it. That was a little sus, but you know what I mean. All right. Ooh-wee. All right. So I've taken Chepe as a dog, and I think that's the only dog I've taken up to now. Right? I thought about Cody Haddon, and then I broke it down, told you what I thought about that. And now we find ourselves with Benil Dariush and Benoit Saint Denis. And I'm going to say the craziest shit during this breakdown, and I just need you to listen. Benil Dariush has no chin anymore. He's getting older. He's gotten his ass beat by the top of the division. And now we saw him come back against Renato Moicano and pull out a nice decision win. Benoit Saint Denis was on his way up to the top, got starched by Dustin Poirier, then comes back, gets his ass beat by Renato, then comes back, beats Prepelec, and now takes out Mauricio Rufy in a very dominant performance. Benil Dariush does not lie in the same conversation as Mauricio Rufy and Prepelec. Benil Dariush lies in the same conversation as Renato Moicano, right? And as Dustin Poirier. MMA math doesn't make sense, but this is what I want you to think about. Benil Dariush just beat Renato Moicano by decision. Did he look good? Eh. Did he get dropped? Yes. Did Renato look good? Not necessarily. Last year, Benoit Saint Denis got his ass obliterated by Renato Moicano. The worst grappling I've ever seen and that high level of sport. Renato Moicano made Benoit Saint Denis beg for mercy. They had to stop the fight because the guy was turning into a smurf. He was morphing. He looked like crap, guys. And now you're going to tell me that because he grappled and subbed Rufy, he's going to come in and just starch Benil Dariush? When did Benoit Saint Denis become this KO artist, this animal? I don't see it. Is there a world where Benoit Saint Denis walks into this octagon, is super aggressive, throws out the hands, and catches Benil Dariush on the chin? Absolutely. Absolutely. Is there a world where these guys come out, Benil Dariush lands a takedown, and we're in a whole different fight? Absolutely. So, guys, I saw a prop on a Benil Dariush takedown, and I want you to go check it out because that's what I'm going to say here. My pick, and it's going to be insane, and I can't believe I'm doing this in this fight. It is a low confidence pick. Am I putting money on it? Not necessarily, but I think Benil Dariush is going to go out there and out grapple Benoit Saint Denis if he could stay safe from some big punches. Benoit Saint Denis is not known for coming out and knocking everybody out, guys. Can he find the chin? Yes. Am I probably going to get a prop bet for Benoit to win by knockout? Yes. But there is a world where Benoit Saint Denis gets out grappled by Benil Dariush, just like Benoit Saint Denis got out grappled by Renato Moicano. Benil Dariush took down Renato 5 times and controlled him however he wanted. If Benil Dariush gets on top of Benoit Saint Denis, we're going to see the same thing. That is my hot take of UFC 322. I'm going to get so much heat when I post that prediction picture I put. So much heat, but I'm ready for it, guys. Benil Dariush to beat Benoit Saint Denis, plus 155. Benoit Saint Denis a minus 200. Something to think about. Benil Dariush by decision, plus 525. Benil Dariush by sub, plus 750. Dariush by knockout, plus 575. Yeah, man. But the money line's plus 155. Yeah, man. How would he do it? I don't know. Does he just out grapple him? Does he just do ground and pound? Can he find the sub? Can he sneak it in? Benil Dariush to win by finish, plus 300. So yeah, guys. Benoit Saint Denis to win by finish, plus 110. Yeah, man. This is rough. This one's rough. So Benil Dariush takedown. Oh my God, look at that. I got this line. I'm going to tell you already. Benil Dariush takedowns landed over 0.5. I got it for plus money. It's already at minus 120. I posted it like an hour ago. I love that. That is awesome. Clown shit. So yeah, guys, this is a tough spot, man, because if Benoit Saint Denis takes down Benil Dariush, he's going to find himself in some sub trouble as well. Can he do it? Absolutely. Can he come out and starch him? Absolutely. But you know what? Give me Benil Dariush to come out here, bite down on his mouthpiece, and go for takedowns, man. That's what I got to tell you. Moving on. Leon Edwards, Carlos Prates. Guys, Leon Edwards, such a high caliber fighter, but somebody I've never been on. Never. He was seconds away from losing to Kamaru Usman in that title fight. And then I didn't think he looked that good against Kobe. I faded him against Bilal. I mean, this guy, I've never been a fan of Leon Edwards, but in the third fight, the trilogy fight, the second title fight with Kamaru Usman, I will say that I was impressed with him because I noticed that Leon Edwards is not an exciting fighter, but he's a very intelligent one, and he's a good one at that. He's long, he could point strike, he could grapple, he could defensively grapple, he could wrestle, he could defensively wrestle, he has good clinch work, he could defend himself in bad submission positions with some threats. The guy's real deal. He's obviously coming off that sub to Sean Brady, which is tough because I think so highly of Sean Brady, but I just do not like this matchup, man. Leon Edwards is 110% content with you picking the fight you're going to fight, moving backwards, stuffing a takedown, point fighting, kicking you at range, jabbing you at range. And honestly, what we've seen from him in the past is sniper skills, right? He comes in with that 50 cal and he just shoots you randomly. Look what he did to Kamaru Usman. But I just don't like him in this spot because Carlos Prates showed me that you better be ready to dance with the devil with this guy because Ian Gary, I picked Ian Gary against Carlos Prates for that. The point striking, the young up and comer. I don't think Leon Edwards is gonna dance around the way Ian Gary was able to and grapple the way Ian Gary was able to. Even though I said Leon Edwards grappling is underrated, I think Carlos Prates is gonna be a machine. Maybe loses round one. Is just feeling this guy out, works the body, and he's just going to close in on this guy again and again and again. And eventually, I just think Carlos Prates finds his chin, man. And Leon Edwards has never been finished in that way. He's never been knocked out, but we've seen him shaky. I mean, Nate Diaz with a beer belly and freaking 40 years old was slapping him and almost knocked him out. Decided to point at him instead and flick him off. So I don't know, man. I think Carlos Prates is on a heater. I love the fact that all the fighting nerds took a loss. I think they're coming back bigger, better, badder. He's coming off against that spinning elbow knockout. So I think this is gonna be real good, man. I think it's a good fight. It's a fun fight. I think Prates controls the pace. Leon lets him do so. He tries to point strike against Prates, and I just think Prates finds something, man. He's a dog, bro, and I think I'm gonna go Prates knockout. I think there's some value in that, but I could see this going to decision, and if it does, I am gonna be a little shaky because I know Leon's gonna be scoring some points, but the bigger moment should go to Carlos Prates. So let's take a look at some of these odds. Leon Edwards plus 155, Prates minus 200. I don't hate his money line, but I'm not in love with it. Under 2.5 rounds is plus 115. Winning method, Leon Edwards by decision plus 275. That's not a terrible line for that. Carlos Prates by knockout plus 170, by decision plus 240. Something to think about if he can't put away Leon Edwards, but he has bigger moments. Fight to go the distance is about a pick 'em. No is minus 110. Yes is minus 120. So yeah, any fighter to win by knockout, yes is plus 120. Most significant strikes landed, Leon Edwards plus 105, Prates minus 140. Prates to land over 40. The line for significant strikes is 40.5. Total 79.5. Huh. This is a tough one, guys. This is a tough one, but I am going Prates. I am going knockout. I'm more inclined to think round 2 or 3. But yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. I'm excited to see how Leon comes out, especially after dealing with a couple of losses, man. Sean Brady, Michael Morales. So guys, I've been on the fence all week on this fight because I'm big on both guys. I've been a Sean Brady fan for a long time. Broke my heart once when he got knocked out to Bilal Muhammad, and I gotta say, I was like, oh, there it is, project. But man, he's proven himself, man. And every time he comes out, I think he gets better. He looks fresher in there. He looks more comfortable. He looks more dominant. And if there's something I know about this guy, just because I remember seeing an interview with him, this guy takes his shit seriously, man. This guy like is tracking his sleep. This guy knows how many freaking micrograms of things he's having. Sean Brady's a real deal. He's an absolute killer, and in reality, he has a tough test in front of him. And in reality, he probably could have waited out and gotten the next title shot. I give him props for taking on an up and coming prospect who's pretty scary. Now you have Michael Morales over there, who's proven to be huge for the division. Absolutely lethal, strong, sniper mentality, coming off a huge main event win against Gilbert Burns. But who has he faced besides Gilbert Burns? And that's where I start drawing a line, because what I could say when I look at this fight is Sean Brady at minus 145. What I could say about him is that Sean Brady has fought better competition. Sean Brady's been in there with the tougher guys. Sean Brady has gone through the ringer. And I think that in this spot, I really like Sean Brady to come in, find the takedown, and control, just like he did to Leon Edwards. I could see him find the sub, and I don't hate a sub prop. But I am going Sean Brady. I think minus 145 is a pretty good line for him. Michael Morales is plus 115. I think that's so fair of a price for him. When you look at winning method, Sean Brady by decision plus 190. If Michael Morales is good enough to just avoid the actual finish as when he's on the ground, I think that's pretty fair. But Sean Brady with 13, 12 minutes of control time down there, he should win a decision. I don't like Michael Morales by decision, but him by knockouts plus 350. And I think that's a prop to think about because he goes out and he starts his opponents. We've seen him go the distance. We've seen him grapple well. We've seen him strike well, but I just don't think he's as developed as everybody says he is. I'm going Sean Brady. I think it should be rather dominant. I think this line is generous, minus 145. I think I am going to take it. I haven't put him into anything, but I am going Sean Brady, guys. Valentina Shevchenko versus Wei Li Zhang Wei Li. Guys, Valentina's minus 135 favorite, Wei Li a plus 110 underdog. And I thought Wei Li was going to be the favorite. I thought Wei Li was going to be the favorite, and not because I think she's better, just because I thought the public would like her more. But everybody's on Valentina. I've seen a lot of people on Valentina, and I got to be honest with you, I love Valentina. And I think she may be one of the only fighters ever that I've been betting on for a while that I've never bet against. I bet on her in all three fights against Grosso. I bet on her in every fight which I could possibly bet, and even um, done predictions and bets. I've never faded Valentina Shevchenko. I don't think I'm going to start today. However, I really am on the fence and I'm debating it, and I'm going to tell you why. Valentina Shevchenko, she's going to be in her division, right? But these girls match up very well. She's the height's there. The only thing is she has a better reach advantage. But I'm gonna give Zhang Wei Li two advantages here. That's gonna sound crazy. I'm gonna give her the speed advantage, and I'm gonna give her the power advantage. Everything Zhang Wei Li throws just looks a little more damaging than Valentina. And I'm not saying Valentina can't do damage, but I feel like Valentina's the point striker here. I think that Valentina's, if you had to look at these fighters, I think Valentina's the boring fighter out of the two, where Zhang Weili is going to be the one who comes in and she tries to make things happen and looks for a finish. So I think this is a good spot for those who think Weili could get it done. I think this should be a pick 'em. So plus 110, I think that's great for Weili. I think that's a given. I might throw money at it, even though she's not my pick. Um, I think that's really fair. I really like Weili by decision, but I can't get my heart around it because I think Valentina is a very smart fighter, and I think Valentina, even though someone put here Weili by decision show out grapple Valentina, I don't necessarily think that's true. I think Valentina has progressed a lot and her grappling looks really good. Weili is strong, again, has good hips. She's very stocky and closer to the ground. So I think her center of gravity is like insane, right? Like she's really hard to take down and at least keep down. Where I think Valentina Shevchenko may be taken down easier, but it really all depends on the game plan. I might not throw any money at this fight, guys, because this is one of those that I just want to sit down, watch, and enjoy. I'm doing my best to find some value in this fight because I do like to have money invested, but this is a really tough one. I really do see it going either way. Over 1.5 rounds is minus 1100, insane. Over 4.5 rounds is minus 275, and I think that's very fair. I really do believe this fight goes to decision. Both of these girls are so high class, so durable, and so good, so intelligent. Under 4.5 is plus 195. Winning method, Shevchenko by decision plus 150. Wei Li by decision plus 210. Fight to go the distance, yes, is minus 240. Any fighter to win by knockout is plus 375. Any fighter to win by sub is plus 500. Most significant strikes landed, Wei Li at minus 130. Valentina, takedowns landed, 2.5 is the line, over is minus 130. Most takedown landed, Valentina's at minus 250, Weili's at plus 180. Total significant strikes landed, over the line is 147.5. Total takedown landed is 4.5. I think there's the over. I think these girls are going to be taking each other down, but I really do think Valentina is going to take down Weili starting early, do it consistently. I think she's going to get it done, guys. I think I'm going to go Valentina. I think I'm going to stay on my trend. Um, I want to say this is almost a biased pick. I've been on Valentina for a long time. She's probably one of my favorite female fighters ever. So it is a little bit biased. I do love Weili as well. I think this is the best possible female fight we could ever get, right? Or get right now at least. I'm excited. Valentina by decision, but man, I could easily see Weili, and I think the value lies with Weili at plus money. Jack Della Maddalena, Islam Makhachev. Guys, 51 minutes I've been yapping. It's been somewhat of a stream, not the craziest volume today, but I know a lot of people watch these videos tomorrow or Saturday morning. This is what I'm gonna say. This is not a biased pick. Um, This is all logic, and I'm gonna give my argument for both of these guys, and it's gonna be somewhat of a rant, right? Jack Della, bro, you're in the octagon right now. I'm in the octagon right now. I had no idea how the hell I do that. You know what? For this last pick, let me see if I can edit. No, it's not gonna let me edit now. All right. So anyway, let me get back to business. Oh, I can. I'm gonna do it. Visual effects. All right. Now I'm in a brick wall. Now I'm in an office. But no, I'm gonna take this off. I'm just gonna do white wall behind me, right? For this pick, changing up the background. So let me tell you something, guys. I have the way Lee and Valentina pick is hard, and I think this is just as hard. I could easily understand if both of these fights were pickups, right? I understand that there's a lean on Islam for a lot of people because he's been so dominant, but we have to look at how he's been so dominant and at what weight class and who he's been fighting. Um, Islam Makachev is coming up 15 pounds, and that's not an easy task. And he's used to fighting and being the bigger guy, thicker, stronger, most of the time taller. And now he's fighting Jack Della Maddalena, who's just as thick, just as strong, just as tall, is actually an inch taller, and has reach advantage, right? Um, so there's a lot of question when this fight comes, like, what's going to happen now? What does Islam do now? Is Islam going to be able to ragdoll Jack the way the way he has to others, right? But when you start looking at everything, you see the dominance, not dominance, because he went to war with Dustin Poirier, but he finds a finish. Recently, that Renato Moicano, he got it done. It was Renato Moicano. He subbed him. Guy's nasty. The two Volk fights, yeah, Volk is Volk, but Volk's an 145-pound man and a small lightweight guy. He went to decision with him. That one was rough. I think he learned a lot there, and then he starched him in the second one, but it was on short notice. So, who can I say that Islam has fought that I could compare to Jack Della Maddalena? No one. There's no one really that I could say, right? And but what I will say is that Islam is a freaking dog. He comes from the Dagestani camps. Those guys see MMA in a different way. Their IQ is insane. And I'm more than confident that he's going to come out here and he's going to look very good at 170 pounds, somewhere where he should be more comfortable. Now going on to JDM. JDM, everybody's giving him so much credit for beating Bilal. It upsets me. I did pick Bilal in that fight. And this is what I'm going to say. That was Bilal's fight to lose, and a lot of people don't like that because a lot of people had JDM and they're like, he's just a better fighter. I don't think so. I think that Bilal Muhammad in that fight was trying to prove something. Bilal Muhammad became champion, and it was like the most blah thing ever. I had him beating Leon, and he became champion, and I feel like there's still an insecurity of him not being good enough because the fans hated Bilal. Bilal would be in a street fight and win a decision. I love that joke because it's so true. And I really think that got to his head and he was trying to prove a point. Whereas a champion, you don't try to do that. That's the type of difference between Islam or a different champion and Bilal Muhammad. Bilal Muhammad went against Jack Della Maddalena and he tried to prove a point that he could strike with him. And it was the dumbest thing he could have done. And for you guys saying, oh, he went for so-and-so takedowns, the majority of his takedowns came in the later rounds, in the championship rounds. Here we go. Oh, Bilal shot like 7 times. JDN also had uppercut feints and would lower himself to defend. Perfect. Go watch that fight. Bilal Muhammad, if I'm correct, shot one takedown in the first, second, and third rounds. And then started trying to wrestle as they're both exhausted in the championship rounds. And it obviously didn't work out. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying JDM is a slouch. I'm not saying he was going to take him down or control him with ease. But we have to understand Bilal did not have the best game plan. They did not have the best game plan. Where I think Islam is a whole different story. I think Islam's going to stand in here, and I think he is going to initiate grappling. I think so. Bilal can't wrestle in round 3, 4, and 5. No, but it's very different. Anyway, I'm not going to go into that. I'm going to finish this, and then we'll argue about that fight. Long story short, Jack Della Maddalena is very good, right? But one thing we have seen in the past is that he can get taken down. Look at the fight against Gilbert Burns. He was losing that fight. He came back and won. So he's been in compromising positions on the mat. I'm here to say if Islam Makhachev gets him into a point where he makes a mistake, Islam Makhachev is going to capitalize. Islam Makhachev will win this fight, however the hell he wants. Okay? Now, Jack Della Maddalena is as good of a striker against Islam as Islam is as good a grappler against JDM, if that makes any sense. The gaps, in my opinion, are the same. So Jack Della Maddalena could outpower Islam. His combinations in boxing are nasty. I love his head movement. I love everything he does. I like his footwork. I think he's a really uncomfortable fighter to strike. So if Islam can't take down JDM, I think that JDM's gonna have a field day. I think JDM's gonna kind of do whatever the heck he wants standing almost, right? He's gonna respect Islam, but I think he's gonna get comfortable in there. And I wouldn't be surprised if he could finish him. I know people have called for the JDM TKO. I think that's a possibility, right? I also like the fact that Jack Della Maddalena has Volk with him, who's fought Islam twice, right? He knows the tips and tricks. He knows, right, that feeling of having Islam on you and then someone he could talk to. But not only that, he has Craig Jones with him. And I got to be honest with you, any grappling mistakes or grappling downside that Jack Della Maddalena could have had in this fight, I think Craig Jones is sharpening right now as we speak and has been for this whole camp. And JDM's going to look a lot better getting up against Islam Makhachev or getting into a safe spot. And we've seen against this Dagestani guys, it's not necessarily getting up. It's getting into a safe position because they will make you make a mistake and they will capitalize. So with all that being said, and I feel like I gave JDM more positives, I'm going to go Islam Makhachev to win this fight by submission. I think he is going to find a way to get Jack on the ground. I think Jack could be safe for a bit. But I think once Islam does it again, and again, he's going to find something and ultimately he's going to capitalize. Is this a confident bet or pick? Absolutely not. JDM's a scary dude. He could outbox him. This could be a super close fight or somebody could get starched. It's so good, guys. But I am going Islam, and I am going Islam within the distance, which is plus money. So I have to see. I haven't put my final bet because I do expect this line to close. Total rounds under 3.5 is plus 110. Over is minus 145. Over 4.5 is plus 100. Under is minus 130. So the odds makers think this fight does not go the distance. Jack Della Maddalena to win by finish is plus 425. Holy moly. That's something to think about. Islam to win by finish plus 135. Jack to win by decision plus 600. Islam to win by decision plus 210. Any fighter to win by knockout plus 275. Any to win by sub plus 180. Yeah, the line definitely thinks Islam's going to find the sub. I don't know, man. What I don't want people to do, and that was my rant early, is compare Islam to Bilal. Number one, they're not the same fighters. You know, I understand Bilal trained with these guys for a couple of camps and stuff. They're not the same fighter. You cannot compare Islam Makhachev and you can to Bilal Muhammad. So that was my point with that. This guy's levels above him in the grappling world. And yeah, another thing we don't know. I didn't like Islam, his cardio. I didn't like it too much in the Volk fight where they went the distance, and I wasn't too fond of it in the Dustin Poirier fight, even though he dug deep and found the finish. But then again, I wasn't a fan of Jack Della Maddalena in the championship rounds against Bilal. You know, he was able to, even though his hands were down at times and he looked exhausted, he was landing the better strikes. So I think if we go into the championship rounds, this could get real sloppy, but the first three are going to be world class. Most significant strikes landed: Islam minus 130, Jack plus 100. What can't happen here is JDM be too focused on the takedowns, even though that needs to be his biggest concern. I think that's where Islam is going to have an advantage, because if he has him worrying about that takedown so much, it's going to open a lot of doors for Islam. And not only that, but it's going to have Jack kind of shelled up, and he's not going to be able to get comfortable. He's not going to be able to get into his combination. He's not going to be able to utilize his footwork and unorthodox striking approach sometimes. So it's a tough one, guys. But yeah, like I said, I'm going Islam. I do think he wins. Let's see. Islam to win and under 3.5 rounds is plus 165. I kind of like that. So 3 rounds and a half, Islam to find a finish. I really like that. Winning round and method, how crazy would it be? Let's see what this looks like. Islam Makhachev by sub round 1 is plus 900. Jesus. Winning rounds grouped. Let's see. I want to see what they're like grouped. And yeah, I mean, I see what you just put there. It's true. We have seen Islam get chinned, right? So now him going up a weight class and dealing with someone like Jack with his combinations, It's a different ball game. However, is Islam gonna be in that situation, and is Jack gonna feel safe enough with his takedown defense to really let his hands go, especially early? I don't know. These are all things that we have to take into consideration. Round betting. Here we go. Winning rounds group. So Islam round 3, 4 is plus 500. Oh man, I really like that one. Islam round 1 and 2 is plus 325. Ooh, this is something. I kind of like 3 and 4 plus 500. I might have to do both of those bets. Yeah, man. I really do think Islam gets a finish here, man. Yep. Alternate winning rounds group 1 and 2, rounds 3 and 4. Yeah, this is a tough one, guys. Tough one, but something to think about. Anyway, guys, that's my full card breakdown. I know I got more people now towards the end of this live. I've been going at it for an hour. Yes, guys, I think there is value in JDM. Like I said, I think the co-main and main event, freak that. I think the whole main card could be pick'ems. If you told me every single fight on the main card, including Benil Dariush and Benoit Saint Denis, were a pick'em, I would understand them. Minus 115 both lines. I would totally get it. And I still think the public would be split. It's tough, guys. So, guys, that's my full card breakdown. An hour and 2 minutes. I wanted to tell you guys, show us your feet or you're gay. Oh God, no, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna show you my feet. I'm also not gay. So what I was gonna say is, guys, I am doing a fight companion for the prelims. So I might even do early prelims, but I'll talk on my Instagram. If you made it this far, if you just joined, check out my Instagram, guys. I'm gonna put it here. There it is. IG is MMA Casual. If you want my exclusive bets, $4.99 a month. I'm not going to show you my feet. What I will say is I am doing a live card companion. Most likely starting with the prelims, might do it with the early prelims, guys. That's like 7 hours of live streaming. That's going to be on Saturday. I'm probably going to be throwing live bets as fights are going on. It's going to be a lot of fun. I hope to have quite a few people. If I have, over 10 people for the majority of it, I always have a good time. I think it's a lot of fun. So if you guys could join that, I would love it. Please subscribe. Go check out Instagram. Always a pleasure. Have a good one.